So when I told you all that, when I looked to my left and looked to my right, there's no partners to back me up. Everybody hid. You know, especially with the sheriff's department, deputies like to carry themselves like, oh, I don't want to curse because they're kids, but you know, they walk around like the tough guys. But when it really came down to prove their courage, they showed their true nature and they hid. And it pains me to say this, but they hid like cowards. I was desperately looking for somebody to be on this battle with me because I can't do it alone. I was desperately looking for allies and partners to work with. And I found Mike. Woo! Mike is a rare breed, especially nowadays. A true man with courage, a family man, and somebody that actually means what he says and takes action behind it. I'm incredibly proud to have met somebody like Mike. I'm very grateful that Mike considers me his friend and his brother. And together, along with Burn Brink, as part of the Heroes Coalition, we're going to do everything we can to save the state. And without further ado, the man himself, the great and powerful Mike McMahon.
Let me find that blue X. I appreciate everybody having me back out here again. Thank you, Sarah, for giving up some of your time for Vince and I to speak. This is my second time speaking here. Just a little quick update as to the last time I was here. So I was a 14-year veteran of the LAPD. And on July 1st, I was finally fired by the LAPD after being on trial within the department for 7 months. They terminated me for refusing to follow the order of a chief after I refused to acquiesce to the city's vaccine mandates. They told me that being a police officer was a privilege, and it was a privilege that I didn't deserve. It hit really hard because you know, I sacrificed my entire career to stand up for my principles, much like Vincent's doing. You know, I'm not beholden to anyone but the two kids that call me dad. You know, every day I look in their eyes and I strive to be a better man, someone that they can look up to later on. I strive to be the man that 10 or 15 years down the road, when they're looking back on the clown show that's 2022, they can say, Dad, what did you do back then? And without hesitation, my response will be everything that I did, everything that I could, everything that I do right now, I do for my kids, but I also do it for you. I'm not going to take too much time because Vincent pretty much said everything that I've been thinking. But I want to ask a question of you all. You know, just shout it out. What do you love? Anybody? Freedom? How about somebody else? Family. Anybody else? Nobody loves anything? Or are they just too afraid to say? Right? We're here to speak freely. Human rights. God, faith, everything. Thank you for finally speaking up. Right? It's hard to speak up, right? And especially in front of people. But let me ask you a question. All the things that were said, what are you prepared to do to keep that? What are you prepared to do for that? Will you speak out further? Will you address, you know, these injustices when the time comes? Candidates like myself and Vince and Sarah and even Bonnie here, it is really uncomfortable. But let me tell you what I had to learn very quickly when I started this fight. You have to be comfortable in being uncomfortable. Right. I hate public speaking. I hate sticking my neck out, but the time is now because no one else is stepping up. Every single person that goes home today, yes, I hope you feel energized. You know what? I heard this great talk today. I heard all these talks about freedom. What are you going to do afterwards? Yeah. It's no longer about putting it on Facebook or Instagram or you know, talking about it online. For this next meeting, we should have each individual who's here bring 2 to 3 more people, because I cannot do anything running for office unless the folks that I'm speaking to actually get out and do something to help Vincent and I get into office. Yes. We are ready for the task. We are the men that were chosen. I ran as a running candidate for Assembly District 41, Pasadena, La Cañada, Front Ridge, all along the 210 freeway, out to the 15, into the high desert. I was the top write-in vote getter for the entire state for the Assembly, 2,580 write-in votes. You know how I did that? By talking to people, by being uncomfortable, right? But I have a good message, and I'm here for the right reasons, because everything I do comes right from here. I'm here to save the state. At any point, individuals like myself and Vincent could have packed up our families, moved to Tennessee, been fine. But the battle for our nation starts right here in California. If you think real hard, you'll notice that every single person in power in Washington, D.C. is from where? Right here from this state. This is the most important election, 2022 and even 2024. It is the most important set of elections for our country in the history of our country. 246 years of self-governance is really at the precipice of falling into the Pacific Ocean. And I need for you all to get activated. Has anybody here, other than Ben and Asia, or wherever she went, has anybody else signed up to support a candidate? Has anybody else signed up to make phone calls? Anyone? I implore you, find a candidate. It doesn't have to be me, it doesn't have to be Vince. Find a candidate, help a candidate, walk for a candidate, donate to a candidate, because individuals like myself, we're grassroots. Does anybody think that the California GOP cares about us? Do you know how much money I've received from the California GOP and help? Zero. 0 donations from the party that is supposed to be supporting us. Did I receive any walkers? 0. By God's grace, I found incredible help through Asia, through Bonnie, through Sarah, and through my best friend. My best friend. My best friend is my kid's mom, but Vince is a really good friend of mine. But he's my brother, and I would walk over hot coals. I would jump in front of a bullet for this man because he is a true man, and he does what he says, and he says what he does. So that's my challenge for you folks here today. We had a really great legislative session. Vince and I traveled up to Sacramento, just on a little side note. But this is important in getting involved in your government. Scott Wiener, Akilah Weber, Evan Lowe, all the people up in Sacramento, they're looking to strip our parental rights. I have a 7 and 8-year-old boy. They're taking our parental rights and they're just wiping them away like a baby that soiled its diaper. We defeated SB 866 on August 31st, right? And I'm honored to have been a part of that. I went up to Sacramento 4 times since I've been running, and I lobbied every single time I was up there for almost 12 hours a day. And we got to those Democratic Assembly members, and we said, this is why this bill is wildly inappropriate. But there's so much that slipped through the cracks. SB 107, another Scott Wiener bill, is going to make California a sanctuary state for trans kids to get, butchered, right? They're going to allow children to come into our state. They're going to take them per DCFS, and they're going to transition these kids, and they're going to be, they're not going to be acknowledging out-of-state warrants, which is against the law, a federal law. But these are the kind of bills that they're writing now. They're removing parental rights. People who aren't parents at all think that they know better than us. Does anybody here have school-age kids? No? There's 3 of us. Man, this is a hard room to talk to, right? But I just wanted to reiterate to you, find a candidate. It doesn't have to be Vincent or I. I'll prefer it to be Vincent and myself because we need all the help that we can get. But find a candidate. Do something for that candidate because we really need your help. Right? Next Healthy and Free meeting, or the next 2 Healthy and Free meetings, I know you've got Peggy Hall coming on the 25th. This park should be filled with people who normally would not come to something like this, but people that that you're out there preaching to. So thank you for listening to us. I appreciate you even showing up. And is there anything else I need to talk about? Anybody? Anyone have questions?
Donate the website.
Thank you. McMahon, the number 4, assembly.com. Tsai for Senate.
Tsai, the number 4, Senate.com.
And then Make California Gold Again.
And you can find both of them on the website. Yeah.
And we are both featured on the website.